Thank you very much, Alan Chen, fellow members of the Chinese Tea Time group, my fellow Toastmaster friends, and any first-time guests. We have a number of people that are visiting the Chinese Tea Time group for the very first time. Is that correct? And if you are first-time visitors, just raise your hand. And why don't you just stand up? Let's, all the rest of us, let's give these first-timers a big round of applause. I know some of the seasoned members, those of the group that have been part of this group for a long time, welcome you, as I do. And we hope that you'll come to many more meetings of the Chinese Tea Time group. So thank you very much, and please be seated. As Alan Chen pointed out tonight, we will be, the group of us from Toastmasters will be sharing with you some information about Toastmasters. But we have an old expression, show and tell. It's an expression in America that comes from our elementary school years, where the teacher, we'd come back from vacation, and the teacher would tell the young students, okay, we're going to have show and tell. You're going to show and tell to us what you did during your vacation. Today we're going to use the same approach, show and tell. We're not going to just tell you about Toastmasters. We're going to show you how Toastmasters work. We'll show you how Toastmasters work, and then you can draw your own conclusions. You can observe what you see and decide for yourself what Toastmasters is all about. We don't really need to tell you what Toastmasters is, because you're all very intelligent, discerning, PhDs, doctors, lawyers. So if we just show you how Toastmasters work, you'll be able to figure it out all on your own. Now later on, of course, we will give some information that's not explained through the meeting, and of course we'll have questions and answers later on. But the emphasis is on showing how it's organized in a typical Toastmasters meeting. Now one thing about Alan Chen that you don't know. Now by the way, when I first came here tonight, some of us were here quite early. One of you that's been in this group a long time said, oh, Alan Chen, he is such a good speaker. He is so confident. You know, when he came out of the womb, he must have been like very confident public speaker. It must be something in his genes, it must be genetic. You know, he must have, you know, again, when he was a little tiny baby, he must have been so confident as a speaker. Now, how many of you believe that? Okay, okay, you've got your fans here. But the truth is, Alan Chen was a very competent speaker. I don't think was like that when you came out of the womb. In fact, when I first met Alan some years ago, you were very shy. You made mistakes. When I joined Toastmasters, I made mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes. And he was very nervous. He was very shy. Right? We could barely hear him. We'd say, Alan, speak up. But through training, through hard work, through discipline, through taking advantage of the program, Alan is the kind of confident and competent speaker and leader that he is today. And I know that all of you in the Chinese Tea Time group have benefited a great deal from his service and from his leadership and his ability to communicate. And so if you are here in America and you have skills and talents, and you want to make the most of the opportunities here, you must improve your communication and leadership skills. We want that for you. We want you to be happy. You want to be happy. You want to be successful, right? So obviously being able to communicate in front of other people is very, very important. Now we have a number of individuals from Toastmasters that are going to be part of our team here tonight. I want to begin with someone who has a very important job. She is the timer, and that's our good friend, Ms. Lucia Liu. Lucia, would you stand up and be recognized? Thank you, Lucia. Now timing is very important. When your boss calls you in, and she says, or he says, okay, this was supposed to be due last week. How come it's not ready? They don't want to hear a 5-minute explanation. They want to hear maybe 1 or 2 minutes. In other words, you can't speak over time. So timing and developing good time discipline is very, very important. So I want to thank you, Lucia. Lucia will also be a speech evaluator. The other speech evaluator tonight, this is also very important, is our good friend Sarah Porterfield. Sarah, thank you. And you'll see later the importance of speech evaluation. You're going to also hear from 2 of our speakers. You already have met Alan Chen. He'll be giving a project speech. And then also, is it Dr.? Yes. Dr. Seitu Nair, very modest lady, but she's a doctorate. Dr. Seitu Nair will also be giving us a speech tonight. And she's here with her husband, her manager, her husband, Seitu, Murali Nair. As you can see, Seitu is expecting a child in about, what, 1 month, 2 months?
2 months.
And so her husband goes everywhere with her. You know, he's in case you decide to have the baby, you know, he'll deliver it for you. He's ready to go. Okay, so we thank you, Seitu, for giving up a very important night for us. And of course, we have someone I'll be introducing later, our Table Topics Master, past Sister Governor Amelia Abad. Amelia, thank you for coming. Now, as we go through the different things tonight, I want you to do something. I want you to watch what is going on here. But I want you to visualize yourself doing these things. I want you to think of yourself being a Toastmaster. As you watch people coming up here and answering table topic questions, we won't have time for everyone to answer, but some of you will not have a chance to answer a table topics question. I want you to see yourself doing that job. Someone will be giving speeches. Imagine yourself, and take note, take mental notes, say, so that's how they do it, okay. So take a note, a mental note, so that when you do it at work, in Toastmasters, wherever, you'll be ready and prepared. And the same thing with our evaluators. One last thing about the group of us from Toastmasters. Toastmasters is not a business. Yes, we have flyers, we have information, we have websites, but we're not a business. So we're not here to sell you anything. And those of us that are here from Toastmasters, we're not paid by Toastmasters. You know, we're not like professional, Toastmasters international people. We don't go around the country selling.
Yes, we're paid. We're paid 6-figure salaries.
All in zeros, yes. So I just want you to know that, because some of you may think, hey, what is this? Are they trying to sell us something here? Is Alan getting a commission or something? You know, what's going on here, right? No. This is something we do because we have benefited, like Alan have, and we want to share this with you tonight. So I just want you to know that we're not a business, and we don't get paid here. We have benefited by it, the 6 of us, the 7 of us, and we just want to share it with you because we want you to be the very best, the most productive you can in your relationships with your friends, at work, in your business, as well as in your community leadership. And I commend the many of you that are part of the leadership of this group. You have demonstrated great leadership, but I know you'll do more up here in America, or if you go back to China as well. One other thing before we get going, you have a lot of pieces of paper in front of you. Right now, the 2 most important pieces of paper are this one, the one that has the Chinese Tea Time logo at the top. This is your agenda. So what I'm saying is prioritize. You have lots of papers, so the most important papers for now are this one, the agenda, and also this one. This will tell you what's happening step by step, and this will sort of give you an explanation of the different steps. The other papers we'll explain later, and those are papers for you to take home if you have additional questions. But right now, these are the 2 most important papers. Everything that you see here in the next 40 minutes or 30 minutes or so are things that are done at every single Toastmaster meeting. And one last thing, a lot of you have asked me questions about Toastmasters. What is it? Where does it happen? We have Toastmaster chapters. These are small groups of 20 or 30 people that usually meet twice a month. And they meet in offices, they meet in hospitals, they meet in universities, they meet wherever we can get free space. Kind of like Chinese tea time, right? So we meet in free spaces, we meet twice a month, and we do speeches and we practice our public speaking. We have chapters, we have in New York City about 60 chapters. 60, 70 chapters. I mean, I've lost count, there's so many chapters. Half of those chapters are in companies. And later on, if you're interested in joining a chapter, we're going to ask you to contact us by email and tell us where you work, because there might actually be a chapter where... Who's the young lady from the United Nations?
Yeah.
We have, I think, at least two chapters of the UN right now, over here in the East, 40s, okay? And again, some of your companies, you tell me what company you are, and likely, or agency, we're likely to have a chapter there. So later, if you're interested, you contact us by email, let us know where you work, what company you work at, where it's located, and also where you live, because there may very well be a chapter in your neighborhood, you know? So that's how that works. And the chapters meet twice a month, usually for about an hour or 2 hours. We have Toastmaster chapters in Beijing, in Shanghai, in the Shenzhen area, in the Guangzhou, is that the name of the province, in Hong Kong, of course, in many places in Taiwan, and many, many other cities in the People's Republic of China. Many, many places. And in Beijing, we have several clubs. In Shanghai, we have several clubs. So if you ever go back, or if you have a sister or a brother or a cousin, or an old boss you think needs to improve their communication, right? You may have an old boss back home, they're lousy speakers, you think, they're very poor communicators, and you think they should go to Toastmasters, you can send them to a club back home in China as well. Now, before we get started, I do want to mention that we're going to see 3 key things here tonight. 3 key things. The first is table topics. The second is prepared speeches. And the third is evaluations. Each of those 3 key activities prepare you for specific skills in life and in work. So we don't fool around in Toastmasters. We don't just do this for the fun of it, although we have a lot of fun. But it's very focused, very strategic. Each of these 3 skill areas, each of these 3 activities develop specific skills that you can use immediately, right away, in your work or in your life or among your friends.